Welcome to the Deal by Me podcast, where we ask guests to tell us your story. Hello there. This is Dr. James W. Smith, your host. We seek to transform lives by encouraging and inspiring. Someone encouraged and inspired this host, a former lawyer, gambler, inmate, and his life was transformed. The same can happen to you. So when you listen to any of the Deal by Me podcasts, please support this podcast with a donation or a monthly recurring amount for as little as $3. If you're viewing any of the podcasts on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. To supporters of this podcast, I want to say thank you. Check out my encouraging, inspiring, and transforming books. I'm available for speaking engagements, in person and virtual seminars. So please contact me through my website, www.dealbyme.com. I have with me Daniel Israeli, who got an exercise and nutrition degree, became a certified personal trainer, and worked in a few gyms. Then in 2020, everything shut down. He started his online fitness business after realizing that people who need the most help losing weight hate going to the gym. A very interesting individual, one whom I'm certain you will enjoy listening to what he has to say today. And so I'm excited and happy to have him come and share with listeners of this podcast. Uh, Daniel, I may have mispronounced that last name, so would you please uh, share that with us and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you've been interviewed from?
Definitely. My full name is Daniel Raz Israeli. Just to make business and personal life differently on social media, I'm Daniel Raz everywhere. Just makes it easier. But
Okay.
as you can probably guess, I'm originally from Israel. When I was 6, my family and I we moved to China. I grew up there. At the age of 18, I decided to go to university in Canada, as you mentioned, to study exercise and nutrition. And I, as you mentioned, became a personal trainer. Then in 2020, everything shut down, could no longer work at gyms. So I started my online fitness business. And when everything shut down, I don't know about everyone who's listening, but I personally was not prepared. I didn't know it was going to happen. I didn't have any equipment at home. It just threw me off completely. And even though I had no equipment, I was still able to get great results. And that's because I had the knowledge of how to do it. So, a metaphor I like to use is Gordon Ramsay, the chef, can make a better meal with one pan than the average person can with 5 pans because it's not about how much equipment you have, it's about knowing what to do. And I believe if you know what to do, you can get great results at home, more convenient. And people that I've helped have found the same to be true for themselves.
Daniel, uh, I am grateful for this interview, and I have read your profile. Very, very interesting. And there are lots of folks who listen to this podcast who I know may be a little overweight, uh, trying to lose it. And to have you come and share your experience with us today is very gratifying and I think necessary. So I want to talk a little bit about what you do and how you got into it. I know you stated at age 17 you started working out, and of course, you noticed that unlike basketball,
Yeah.
you took uh, your body everywhere, and I thought
Yes.
that was really interesting. Um, so tell us, oh, what would you say is the best diet to sustainably lose weight? So these people out there who want to lose weight,
Mhm.
but they're getting into it. all other kind of stuff, and all these products that's on the line, uh, and we're ordering it and we're, trying to do what they say. But you do this now. I mean, this is what you do. So talk to listeners of this podcast about the best diet to lose weight.
Best diet is whatever you can sustain, whatever you can stick to. Because if you want to lose 20 pounds, you can do literally anything. But after those 90 days where you lose those 20 pounds, what happens? Most people gain the weight back and then some. If you want to sustain it, it has to be something that you enjoy. So, what I recommend everyone to do is simply write a list of everything you enjoy eating. Don't filter if it's healthy, expensive, convenient, just write everything down. Once you do that, if you underline what's also healthy, now you have a list of healthy and tasty foods. And if that can be 80% of what you eat, then you'll be good to go to have a healthy and tasty diet that you can sustain.
Okay, so the theory behind this then is not necessarily to just starve yourself, but
Yeah.
to have a diet that you can sustain over a period of time. Am I correct about that?
100% because
Okay.
I take a much longer approach because I work with people that need to lose 100 pounds plus, and you're not going to do that in a month. It's going to take a longer time. So the question is not how are you going to look in 3 months? The question is how are you going to look in a decade, in 10 years, and
Mhm,
not just lose the weight, but keep it off. Because if you don't keep the weight off, then what did we do? What's the point of all the effort?
mhm. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, and I do understand that. Um, why do you think uh, so many people struggle with weight loss? You know, I deal with it a little bit. You know,
Right.
and mine came on me during COVID. And
Mhm.
before that time, I was in the gym. I was riding my bike. I was really keeping my weight where I should have. And then COVID came, and I started sitting around the house. I started eating ice cream. I,
Yep.
started doing everything else. And when I knew anything, I had put about 15 to 20 pounds on. Okay, so I'm understanding where you are exactly. Uh, but then I'm struggling, and I know a lot of other
Mhm.
folks are struggling with weight loss. So why is that?
So I'm gonna answer why, then I'll answer how to fix it. So
Okay.
firstly, the why is that people have a psychological bias to believe that they're missing one thing, but the reality is it's probably 1,000 little things, which
Hmm.
is why having a coach or having some sort of trainer to help you out is super beneficial. If you're learning how to drive, everybody knows green means go, red means stop. Everybody knows to move more and eat less, but there's 1,000 little nuances to actually make it smooth. And for some reason, it's very common to hire a driving instructor to teach you. And once you know how to drive, it doesn't matter what country I put you in, James, you can go from point A to point B. It doesn't matter what country I'm in, I will still look like me, I'll still eat healthy because I've accumulated that skill set.
Hmm.
But so many people try to learn how to drive on their own and then they crash. They try to learn how to get fit and healthy without any guidance, and it takes way longer and it doesn't last because they're missing a bunch of small things.
Hmm.
So that's the why. And the how, obviously, you can hire someone. But what I would suggest for everyone listening is to start with what I call the easy wins. Easy wins are things that don't take time, don't take effort, and still move the needle in your favor. So, as an example, obviously, this is a podcast, I have to be stationary, but every time I'm talking on the phone, I'm always walking, I'm always moving around.
Mm.
I'm going to talk to my mom anyways, might as well get extra steps in.
Mm.
No
Okay.
matter where I'm at, I always have a water bottle within arm's reach at all times. Most people think they're hungry, they're probably dehydrated.
Mm.
And they look and feel bloated because they don't drink enough water. I always have quick, healthy, tasty, high protein snacks all around. Beef jerky doesn't expire. It's always great. high protein, low in calories, Greek yogurt, things like that. Doesn't take time to make. You can just have it. It's ready.
Mm, mm. I got that. That's very, very interesting. You helping the host today, Daniel. I want you to know that. So, uh, I am excited about talking to you because this is something that a lot of folks suffer, just suffer with weight, gaining and trying to lose it can be very, very, very challenging. Does it affect your sleep?
Mm.
As you trying to lose weight, or if you're overweight, could you talk about that just a little bit? Because I know sometimes I feel people talk about, feel like they aren't able to sleep well. They are tired. They're not getting the proper rest. Every time they sit down, they find themselves nodding. So,
Mhm.
can you just share a little bit about what's going on?
100%. And I'm glad you brought that up because sleep is another example of an easy win. Because if I improve the quality of your sleep, it doesn't take extra time, it doesn't take extra effort, and you just get way more out of it. Because I can't snap my fingers and make it so that there's 25 or 26 hours in the day,
Mhm.
allowing you to sleep for an extra hour or two. But if you improve the quality of your sleep, you get more out of it. So
Mhm.
I would say the biggest thing, obviously, is losing weight helps tremendously because I've three clients that once they lost over 60, 70 pounds, they were able to get off the CPAP machine, and that drastically improves the sleep.
Mm.
But that's more of a long term approach. However, if you want to improve your sleep tonight, what I recommend is firstly, dark as possible. So blackout curtains. I have an eye mask, highly recommend it. It definitely makes a huge difference. Secondly, cool room temperature. So 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 90 degrees Celsius. I like to have a thin blanket and a thick blanket so I can adjust, alternate. I sleep naked. I recommend everybody else do the same. Fantastic. If you're more free, it's easier to fall asleep. You can
Okay.
always also take a hot shower or bath before bed, cools you down. And the third thing, which everyone struggles with, including myself, is low stimulation before bed. So avoid technology, avoid the news, heavy arguments. You want to journal, meditate, things of that nature.
Mm, mm. Well, this is very, very exciting. I am overwhelmed. Your story is just awesome, Daniel. I'm don't know holler what to say. You know, um, if somebody listening to this podcast is actually maybe overweight, they are
Mhm.
trying to lose weight. They're caught in this uh, depression.
Yeah.
They may be stressed out. Whole lot of stuff is going on with them. You are in this. This is what you do. So, what would you say to someone who is struggling in this arena that will be encouraging, inspiring, and transforming to them?
I would just emphasize that the best investment you can make is in yourself. Nothing will make you feel better than improving who you are as a person. Because as you talked about my story in regards to basketball, I was confident on the basketball court, but nowhere else because it's not a transferable skill. If you spend 2 hours a week learning how to play piano, by the end of the year, you'd be much better playing piano, which is cool.
Mhm.
However, if you go to any room and you meet people for the first time, they will have no clue about your piano playing skills unless you play piano. But that cannot be said for your fitness. If you spend 2 hours a week working out, exercising, making a conscious effort to eat healthy, by the end of the year, every room you walk to, people will notice. More importantly, you will notice because you carry your body with you everywhere you go. It's the most transferable skill there is. So I would conclude that you should invest in yourself accordingly.
Mm. I like that. I think what's so interesting about what you're saying to me is you carry your body everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're going to invest in anything, that's what you ought to invest in, which is
Yeah.
awesome. That's just awesome to hear someone say that. You know, that's something that we don't normally hear, but we do. We carry it everywhere we go. It doesn't make any difference where it is. The body is with us. The basketball may not be with us. You know, all the other stuff we do may not be with us, but that is with us. What an awesome saying. I do appreciate you sharing that. I know listeners will take that to heart. Listeners, hang around. Don't go any place. Hang with us for just a, a little while longer, and we will let you go. But I want to ask Daniel to just kind of share with us a little bit about maybe uh, how we can contact him. You know, listeners of this podcast. If you have a website, uh,
Mhm.
if you have a book or anything that listeners can get more information on you, which could you share that with us?
Definitely. So my website is danielrazfit.com. So that's DANIELRAZFIT.com. And Daniel Raz underscore fit on all social media. So Instagram, Facebook, the biggest on Twitter or X. For whatever reason, that platform favors me most. So check me out on there, message me, let's have a conversation, see if us working together makes sense, and I can show you other people who I'm sure were in your same shoes that started where you are and now they're where they want to be.
Right. Okay. We do appreciate that. Um, Lots of folk are just so busy. I mean, get up in the morning, they ready to go to work. Come back in the afternoon, they're tired. They go on to sleep, watching a good movie, or something of that nature. Um, Extremely busy. As a matter of fact, you know, almost too busy to do anything else. So, how do people that are extremely busy lose weight?
It's important to remember that saying, I don't have energy to exercise is like saying, I'm too sick to go to the doctor. People have it in verse. Doing it is the solution because you have more energy once you work out. You feel better after you go to the doctor. You can't wait until everything is good and then do it. That's not how it works. So it's really about prioritizing it. And the biggest mindset difference between people that are fit and people that are overweight is that people that are fit view everything as a continuum. People that are overweight view everything as binary. So if somebody had planned to work out for 30 minutes, got super busy, only have 15 minutes. The overweight person is like, I only have 15 minutes, the workout is 30 minutes, I'm not going to do it. That fit person says, okay, I can't go 100%, but I can go 50%. 50% is more than 0%. 15 minutes is more than 0 minutes. I'm going to do 15 minutes of exercise. I'll always find a way. I'll always do something. When
Hmm.
it comes to eating out, because you don't have time to cook, the overweight person says, well, I don't have any healthy options. I'm just going to eat junk food. The fit person says, well, I don't have any healthy options. However, there is still extremely unhealthy options and less unhealthy options. So I'm going to pick the less unhealthy options. View everything as a continuum, as in heading towards the right direction rather than thinking that you have to be perfect. That's the key for long term success.
I'm speechless. This is an amazing conversation with you today. I'm literally speechless. This is awesome. You talk to folk all the time who trying to lose weight. They're trying to come down. They've done everything they possibly can, but they obviously are thinking about it in the wrong way. And talking with you, I've just put it in perspective. Yeah, and I see it clearly, and I'm certain that listeners of this podcast uh, see it also. Um, as I ask you my last maybe question, uh, what about folks who are on the road a lot? You know,
Hmm.
they travel, they here and there, and they feel like they don't have the time to do a lot of stuff. You know, their job requires them to be gone
Hmm.
here and there. Uh, how do they, or what would you say to them that will help them in controlling their weight or losing their weight?
Right. So I would say the most important thing is to, in regards to working out, I would say the most important thing is to just start, because many times people don't have the momentum. When you're sleeping, it's a lot easier to stay asleep. If you're moving around, it's a lot easier to keep moving. So the mindset that I would get them in is, as long as you work out for 5 minutes, that counts as a win. As long as you start, that counts as a win. And as I mentioned, I'm actually traveling right now. I'm not in my home place. I did a home workout yesterday. It doesn't matter where I'm at, I can always work out at home. And it doesn't matter what hotel they are, they will have a floor and they'll have a wall. That's all they need to get a really good exercise session in if they know what they're doing.
Mm.
So that's in regards to the exercise. And in regards to the nutrition, I would say to plan ahead, because if you have, as an example, what I personally like, Quest chips, beef jerky, and protein shakes don't expire, super high protein, super low calories. For me, taste good and they're very filling. There's many other options. You just gotta find what you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, then it won't be sustainable. And it doesn't matter what fast food place you're eating, you can always order double meat. You can always not eat, not drink the sodas. You can always make healthy options from whatever, healthier choices from whatever options that are presented to you.
Now, I take it, Daniel, that you're not saying that we can't engage in a little ice cream every once in a while,
Of course.
that we can't engage in a piece of cake, you know,
Yeah.
or drink a soda every once in a while. But what you're saying is that we have to uh, be able to balance it or control it. Or how would you phrase that?
That's an excellent point, because, again, if we go to the mindset of the average fit person versus the average overweight person, is if there's a cheat day or an ice cream day or a meal, maybe not an ice cream day, but ice cream meal, and a wedding or restaurant or event that you go to, it's important to remember, just because I have one donut or one cookie doesn't mean I have to have 10. Because again, the fit person mindset is our continuum. If this is 0 cookies and this is 10 cookies, can I have three and that's it? Cool. Let me do that.
Mhm.
A lot of people will be like, well, I I'm not gonna have zero, so I might as well have 10. I might as well have the full thing. But again, it's important to not think in those terms of binary terms.
Mm. Wow. Daniel, what an awesome interview today. And I want you to know how much this has really helped me. And I know it's helped lots of listeners of this podcast. And excited to just have you share with us. And there you have it. I'm just going to say Daniel because that last name I still have a hard time getting it.
All good.
So I'm just going to say Daniel, thank you again so very much for sharing with us today. And until next time, peace and blessings be with each of you.